Welcome, Climate Viewers. This is Jim Lee from ClimateViewer News at ClimateViewer.com. Happy 2021. Have you noticed blue skies since the pandemic occurred? I have, and I've gotten a lot of messages about it. And I think that now's a good time to kind of bring it back to the whole global warming, chemtrail, contrail, what plane farts, whatever you want to call it, that whole debate. Because I want to make a prediction. This virus, this pandemic, is going to show in the future how important the role of planes making clouds are on the climate and global warming. And I just, had this thought yesterday, let's really flesh this out. Did a little searching around, found some interesting stuff. I hope you guys are going to enjoy the video. Please, like, share, comment, subscribe. If you're new to the channel, if you're just watching this for the first time on D Live or Facebook or any of the other places, you can always check me out at my home page, my main page on YouTube. It's youtube.com/Jim Lee-ClimateViewer. And you can always support my work by giving a monthly donation on Patreon or giving a one-time donation on PayPal or GoFundMe. Those are greatly appreciated. But without further ado, let's jump right into it. So, the first up I have is coronavirus. Plane-free skies spur research into warming impact of aviation. And this is dated September 4th, 2020. As the COVID-19 pandemic response hits air traffic, scientists seize on the opportunity to study how planes' contrails trap heat in the atmosphere. Now, any of you who have been following my work for quite some time already know this stuff. In fact, I spoke at an EPA hearing on this in 2015 and, said to them, Happy New Year to everybody in chat. I see you guys, sleeping like babies, Oregon Sunshine, Reno Healing, Massage, Diane Heath, Happy One, Gabrielle Treewolf, John Otter, Poopy Parker, Joseph Buck. Happy New Year's, guys. Thank you for tuning in. The interesting part about this for me is that there's this large denial going on. And what you see in this article is that you have to go all the way to the end of it to really get to the truth of what this problem is. And it's the cloud conundrum. L1978. Hey, what's up, girl? Happy New Year. Mass groundings of flights caused by the coronavirus are giving scientists a rare chance to study plane-free skies and pin down how far aviation stokes global warming. By the way, got a brand new microphone. How's it sound, guys? Let me know in chat. Just checking that out. So you scroll all the way down through all of this stuff about, historic aviation, carbon dioxide emissions. They're only, 2% of, 4%. Estimated that aviation contributed 4% to man-made global warming, with most of it from contrails rather than carbon dioxide or other greenhouse gases. Now, this is literally 5 years since I went to the EPA suite. Loving this new mic. I'm feeling pretty good. I haven't slept at all for like a week, but there's no rest for the weary. But this is really the one that everybody needs to pay attention to right here. The plane-free skies could help narrow down uncertainties, so help guide long-term policies. He added, ICAO, or the International Civil Aviation Organization, points to the need for scientific consensus, which, so it is argued, is absent in the case of non-CO2 cloud effects. Let me translate that for you people. So basically what they're saying here is the airline industry, the ICAO is a UN body that, pretty much governs. It's the airline industry governing itself. Let's be realistic. There are no regulations on airlines. Effectively. So you've got the airline industry going, well, scientists don't agree on how much our plane farts, are the clouds we make, the chemtrails, the contrails, the cirrus clouds, hashtag cirrus clouds matter. Scientists don't agree on how much that's affecting global warming. Please continue to focus on CO2 because, that's something that can be a boogeyman and we can continue to, just blame that or work on that because we can't or won't do anything about the clouds. So that's their get out of jail free card. Hey, scientists don't agree or understand or have a clue how much these clouds we're making have an effect on global warming. So just, we'll worry about that later. But regardless, this is a fascinating article because coronavirus, because let me put that back up there. Coronavirus plane-free skies spur research into warming impact of aviation. Interestingly enough, this is September 4th, 2020. What happens next? 3 days later, right here, 3 days later, August. So this was actually the month before, August, September. So August 7th, current and future global climate impacts resulting from COVID-19. And this is in Nature, on nature.com. Now, of course, they're saying, at the end of the day, this really isn't going to affect this cooling trend is offset by a 20% reduction in global SO2 emissions that weaken aerosol cooling effect. So because less people are driving right now, because less people are, out and about moving around in their cars, this is kind of like lumping it all together. Global emissions and air pollution are down and greenhouse gases are down. So of course it's going to be cooler this year. That's what they're setting up in this Nature article. And of course, Forbes follows in suit with, a tag along article. COVID-19 restrictions and travel bans have negligible impacts on long-term global warming. Study, August 7th, 2020. Jumping back over here, this is September 4th, but, scientists really need to, figure this out because we don't understand. So to put this into perspective, this is what it looks like if you're charting out year-on-year change of weekly flight frequency of global airlines from January 6th to December 21st, 2020 by country. And as you can see, they just drop precipitously around March. And then they're way down here, on average from 50 to some, Singapore literally is down to, 196% less flights, 89 right there. But you can see the numbers all the way across. And in general, all flights around the world have gone down dramatically. And that's going to lead to less of this, less of these aerosols, these metals, these particulates being in the air. And that's a good thing. So what we're seeing is there's a less cloud cover. There's less haze in the sky. And as a result, we're seeing cooler skies. And there's a couple reasons for that. So what happened was, tell you a little story. Activists challenge EPA at the hearing on flight pollution. This is on weathermodificationhistory.com. And yours truly and a couple other guys and gals went up to Washington, D.C., and we gave a little speech. That's us right there. It's me and Patrick Roddy and Max brain fart, bro. Get more sleep, dude. Help me out, chat. Why am I having a brain fart right now? Anyway, Max and good Lord. Complete brain shutdown. It's not Atlanta Freeland, bro. But anyway, we went up there, we gave a speech, and I said this.
If the EPA complies with the spirit of the Clean Air Act, they will protect us from metal aerosols attributed to Alzheimer's, autism, cancer, and a plethora of other debilitating illnesses. If the EPA is truly concerned about aviation-induced climate change, they will regulate the production of contrails and cirrus clouds, which change our climate to a much greater extent than the sum of the 6 greenhouse gases named in this proposal. Regulating heavy metals and aviation-induced cloudiness will be meaningless without proper verification. Even though ICAO members sign a binding agreement to only use certain chemicals in their gas tanks, we all know agreements and regulations are useless without proper verification.
Didn't unmute my mic. Thank you. Chat, you're saving my butt today. That was Max Bliss, good friend of mine. Right here, as you can see, this is the interactive timeline on weathermodificationhistory.com. If you want to actually dig into just the contrail, chemtrail, cloud problem, click tags, click artificial clouds. If you click any of these, they're going to sort through things. You can go to cloud seeding, whatever. But you just click show all, click on tags, click artificial clouds, and bam, you're in just the aviation section like this here. So we're going to just quickly go through some history. I'm about to wrap up this video, but I wanted to make sure that everybody kind of understood why this is so important. I mean, this is so important right now. So September 11th, during the bombings, they grounded all flights, and David Travis and company wrote a paper called Regional Variations in the U.S. Diurnal Temperature Range for the 11 to 14 September 2001 aircraft groundings, Evidence of Jet Contrail Influence on Climate. And what they basically found was that the diurnal temperature range, that the diurnal temperature range changed significantly during this time. That the difference between how warm it is during the day and how cold it is at night, the variation, was much greater during the aircraft groundings. The reason why is because, as you can see here, this is the President George W. Bush flying back with some F-16s and literally almost no clouds already at this point, all over the United States. This is Patrick Menace from NASA's LARC satellite imagery. Looks like infrared. But these clouds, they trap heat. They make like a blanket over the planet. So what happens is you have what most people, refer to as geoengineering, which is solar radiation management. The thing they're not telling you about is what's called Earth radiation management, or letting that, warming effect escape back into space. And what happens is planes create this blanket. So you have sun, solar energy coming in, heating up the ground level, the troposphere where we live. And then at night, there should be no clouds and the heat escapes back to space, cooling the planet off. But if the planes are making clouds and that's literally trapping the heat on the planet, that's going to have a greater effect on climate change than any of this. So I interviewed the head of the Federal Aviation Administration's Aviation Climate Change Research Initiative, Dr. Rangasai Halthori, and he said, we'd like to have more contrail-induced cirrus clouds during the day and none during the night. And Dr. Ulrich Schumann from the German Aerospace Center said, we want less warming and more cooling contrails, predictable for operational planning. He said this at the ICAO Colloquium on Aviation and Climate Change 2010. And Ken Caldera, famous geoengineer and company, came up with the idea in a paper called Climate Change and Geoengineering, Artificially Cooling Planet Earth by Thinning Cirrus Clouds, which all of these are cirrus clouds that are created by planes. If the time and place of seeding is selected with care, the climate effect of cirrus thinning can be enhanced. For that, not only the long wave warming effect, or this section down here, of cirrus clouds should be targeted, and their solar effect should be avoided. So we want to put chemicals into these clouds to melt them away at night. Want more clouds by day, none during the night. And the reason for that is because during the day, they block a lot of incoming solar radiation, but at night, they trap it. So right out of the horse's mouth, for that, only long wave warming effect of cirrus clouds should be targeted and their solar effect should be avoided. This can be achieved if seeding is limited to high latitude winters or to nighttime seeding. So you can see very clearly that, with the idea behind cirrus cloud seeding, that it's cheap. They can use things like bismuth triiodide. It's cheapish, non-toxic seeding via commercial airlines. There's way more to this issue than they're letting on. And it's going to continue to be that way. But you can watch all that stuff here. It's in the timeline. And, I wrote a paper on this in a video. You can check it out on YouTube. Cocktail Geoengineering, How 9/11 Changed the Sky Forever. But that was the first major paper, major breakthrough. And these are all the references. Of course, if you go to weathermodificationhistory.com, you're going to get hit up with all the references. And then some. So going back over here to the next occurrence happened in March 2009. Again, we're on the weather modification history timeline. Volcanic eruption highlights contrail conundrum. And this was Jim Haywood and company in 2009. They wrote, a single aircraft operating in conditions favorable for persistent contrail formation appears to exert a contrail-induced radiative forcing some 5,000 times greater than recent estimates of the average persistent contrail radiative forcing from the entire civil aviation fleet. This study emphasizes the need to establish whether similar events are common or highly unusual for a confident assessment of the total climate effect of aviation to be made. Now, this was during the volcanic eruption, and what basically happened here was an E-3 AWACS, or an Air Force radar plane, was doing circles. That's why you see these circular donuts right here. And it was spreading out and literally covering almost the entire UK. This is just one plane. Now, when I interviewed scientists, who modify the weather and stuff, at the American Meteorological Association's 21st Conference on Planned and Inadvertent Weather Modification, they said, well, this was kind of a different scenario because there was so much volcanic ash in the sky, or cloud seed. So there was way more clouds created by that plane because of the volcano. Fine. But now we're in a similar scenario to the September 11th situation, except it's not just a couple days. It's a whole year. So we're once again here December of 2015, commercial aviation creating ice haze and accidental geoengineering. And Chuck Long from NASA's CRES Earth System Research Lab said, Long suggests that high-latitude ice haze created by water and other emissions from aircraft is responsible. I'm talking about a subvisual contrail-generated haze of ice, which we do not classify as a cloud, but gives blue sky more of a whitish tint. How many people have noticed this? How many people have, been outside and seen directly overhead, pretty bluish sky, and then as you look towards the horizon, that's when you actually see way off in the horizon, you see it's really white. And that is this buildup of ice haze in the sky. And that is what's contributing to global warming as well. So, as these planes are not flying, they're making less clouds, and it's giving all of those chemicals that they've been dumping up in the stratosphere near the tropopause. The tropopause is the area right between the stratosphere and the troposphere. We live down here in the troposphere. The stratosphere is up here, and they fly right at that cusp. And some of those chemicals float up into the stratosphere, which is where the ozone layer is, and they eat that up too. That's another video. Done one, I'll do another one. But regardless, a year now of very few flights, my skies are looking pretty darn blue when it's not raining, of course. Today, especially blue, deep, vivid, beautiful blue skies. And also, coincidentally, it's hit 20 degrees like 3 or 4 times now in December in South Carolina, which is pretty unique. I have not experienced that in quite some time. It's usually late January, February before we hit anything near 20 degrees. And it's warmer today. It fluctuates, but that's just the way things go. But still, I've just, in my personal opinion, have noticed that it seems to be cooler this year on average than your normal year. So I would like to see what the long-term effects of this are. But you can look all into this accidental geoengineering. That's what they're calling it. They're just accidentally geoengineering the plane. Oh, what's this Smithsonian magazine right here? In the age of humans, living in the Anthropocene. Oh, I hate that word. The age of humans, Anthropocene. Airplane contrails may be creating accidental geoengineering. Dissipating haze from plane exhaust alters how sunlight reaches the earth and may be unintentionally affecting our climate. Accidental, unintentional. Words matter. Slave speak matters. Words are the basis of mind control, or what they like to call public relations and perception management. So every single word matters, whether it's on the news, whether it's in the news on some website, they always have these words. And accidental and unintentional are the words for this. Don't believe me? We're about to kill a massive accidental experiment in reducing global warming with ship tracks. That's right, with bunker fuel, because they were going to regulate bunker fuel in these international ships that are bringing tons of shit we don't need from China to your local Walmart. So, international trade. Oh, it's great. If you like to cover the entire planet in freaking clouds that trap heat like a blanket and basically do X, Y, and Z, melt the poles, you take your guess. The truth of the matter is nobody knows. Nobody knows. Nobody has a clue. They don't have a clue. They don't know what's going to happen with this right here. But I'm interested to see. My prediction is there's going to be a paper in the future, and I'll come back and I will reference this video when that happens. That's basically going to poo-poo all over this. And it's going to be pretty funny because they're going to deny. The airline industry has way too much to lose if the climate, crazies catch on to the fact that it's not CO2, it's the clouds. I mean, it's really simple in my book. Let's bring it home for everybody. We've had all of these, big global warming studies put out. The IPCC puts these reports out, and they really haven't accounted for everything. But the global temperature is, the global temperature as it relates to climate. Climate is long-term, weather is short-term. It goes like this. You got the sun, solar energy, sun rays coming in. Then you've got galactic cosmic rays, okay? And these are particles raining down from space. Both of these, well, the sun creates the heat and it has, energy and other, muons. There's all kinds of stuff coming in. It's actually water from the sun. Look that up. And then the galactic cosmic rays, they energize particles that are in our atmosphere, like the metals coming out of all these planes that make the static electricity that makes the water stick to all the pollution that's up there, that makes the clouds. So, sun, galactic cosmic rays, clouds, water vapor, greenhouse gases, way down here, greenhouse gases, water vapor, clouds, galactic cosmic rays, sun. That's what regulates the global temperature of our planet. In that order, in my opinion, after 12, 13 years of researching this, and I will challenge anybody on that. Now, the whole CO2 idea, it comes from a guy named, I believe, James Callender. It's called the Callender effect. It was back in the early 1900s. Nobody really wants to talk about this. But I believe wholeheartedly that if not in the next year, in the next couple of years, there will be somebody with the gonads to publish a paper going, during COVID-19, during the virus, we really got to see what plane-free skies did to our environment, which is rare. So something good could come out of this. And with that being said, I want to leave you guys on a funny note because, this is so sciencey and everything. And I love having fun and having a good giggle. And if you like having a good giggle like I do, please check out one of my favorite YouTube channels, if not my very favorite YouTube channel, The Internet Historian. And be sure to watch Tales from the Virus and The Virus Strikes Buck. These will have you in stitches. I promise you, they're worth every minute of watching. This is from summing up the initial run on toilet paper and all kinds of things. And then it just gets weirder from there, of course. But very funny stuff. Absolutely love this guy. Check him out if you haven't. After you watch these two, you're going to end up watching way more. If you're a video gamer like me, you'll love The Fall of 76 and, the End-Goodening of No Man's Sky. But regardless, check out these two on The Virus. I almost named this video The Virus, Aviation and Global Warming. But, he did put a trademark on it. I mean, it's The Virus TM. So, I don't want to go screw with my man, but yeah, I absolutely love that. So check out Internet Historian. Look for some news in the future. If you guys catch it before me, and a lot of you do, because, I have one of I'm not going to use the word woke. I was going to say I have one of the wokest, followings, crowds, gangs, my climate viewers. You guys are always, sending me new stuff. And I read as much of it as I can. I promise you. I do have an 11-year-old and a 4-year-old and a lot going on, especially health wise. But regardless, keep sending me this stuff. The minute you see anything relating to this coronavirus, plane free sky, and what the effects are, send it my way. I promise I will read it all. And it's not the virus, Tim. It's the virus. He cracked me up. I am watching chat, just so you guys know, I am watching the chat. You guys are cracking me up over here. It's just absolutely hilarious. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Bamboo Soldier, Silver Wings, Joseph, I already mentioned you. Quit trying to be special. Shastina, Spooky, Vicky Ann. Haven't seen you in a while, Vicky. How's it going? Over on Facebook. I could actually respond, just so you guys know, I'm using Restream. I can actually respond to everybody but the Facebookers. So that's unfortunate. Sorry about that. But regardless, I'll drop this one link in here for the YouTubers. There you go. And you can see the actual article yourself. But what I'm going to do is, with all of these videos on my YouTube channel, which you can see on the screen right now, I will be posting all of the links from this video in a comment on my YouTube video and then pinning it to the top of the YouTube video. So you'll be able to see all of the links from this video. And I've had people, request that they be able to download the videos. So I will be going through and making the videos Creative Commons again. And that should, automatically give you a download link. I'm hoping. I did do that for quite some time. I don't exactly remember when I changed the default setting, but I have a feeling I'm going to be doing a lot of editing. But regardless, I think this is a fascinating topic. I'm glad that you guys, tuned in for this. And please, I constantly think about deleting my Facebook and all of my social media for that matter. But then, what would I do to actually let you guys know that I'm going live on a stream? Because it's a conundrum. What do I do? If I delete all my social media, I can't tell you I'm going live, and you won't get updates. Short of making an app that gives you push notifications on your phones, and then you'd all have to download it, which might actually be a good idea at some point in the future, because YouTube's not going to let you know. Use Telegram and DLive. What is Telegram? I will check that out, Dr. Alexis. I'm gonna look that up earlier. So you guys watch out for the virus, and make sure you enjoy the blue skies. They have, I have noticed some of the, plane farts coming back as a result of Operation Warp Speed and, all of the plane flights to deliver vaccines that aren't going to work in 3 months. As I told my wife a couple months ago, I'm like, they're rushing out this virus vaccine, and I don't think that people are using their brain at all, because every single year they go, well, the flu shot from last year doesn't work, or may give you partial immunity because, of course, the virus mutated. Why would COVID-19 be any different? So they literally just dump millions and billions of dollars into making those companies rich to rush out a vaccine that isn't going to work in a year. That's prediction number 2. I'm just full of predictions today. Seriously. So that's the problem I see with this. The good side, blue skies, they're temporary. Planes will come back. Pharma, getting rich off of a temporary fix due to fear, uncertainty, and doubt. You end FUD by going to climateviewer.com/propaganda and understanding how this works, because it's how the world goes around. It's how they sell everything, is through fear. I like to call it fear porn. That's how they got the lockdowns, the technocrats. I just did a video on that recently. Watch that about COVID and climate models and how they use fear to, basically force ignorant politicians into doing things they wouldn't have otherwise, because fear, because science. And this is another one of those scenarios where, because science, because coronavirus, because fear, people aren't flying, people aren't going anywhere. Jeff Bezos is getting filthy rich this year on, his freaking Amazon.com, because, people just aren't going out. And climate restoration. John Hart, don't even bring that up. John Hart Crane's a good friend of mine. Don't bring up the term climate restoration. It went from geoengineering to climate engineering to climate intervention, and now they want to call it climate restoration. That is slave speak 101. That is language control at its finest. I've talked about that in past videos. Thank you for bringing it up. Stay the hell out of my brain right now, John. Good Lord. All right. In summary, enjoy the blue skies. Vaccine probably not going to work in a year. Send me any updates you find on anything relating to this blue sky coronavirus year of 2020, and any scientific journals, and especially if you find anybody with the cojones to write the truth about it. And I'll be making that video as soon as possible. So once again, guys, I really appreciate everybody who supported me in 2020. I can always count on you guys. I love you. I mean it. I appreciate everybody who supports me, especially sharing my stuff. Everybody should know, if you don't by now, that I am shadow banned on Twitter, on Facebook, on Google search engine, and on YouTube. Which is, pretty disheartening at times, but you push on through. You just got to keep pushing. So, with your support, with your sharing this, sharing is caring, we can break through the great firewall of the technocracy in Silicon Valley, and, get this information out to people who actually care about it. So I appreciate that. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, click the notifications. I mean, if you got the YouTube app on your phone, you might get a little pop-up, but they stopped emailing people a long time ago. It was months ago. I get 0 email updates saying that a video was posted. YouTube just did away with that feature. Didn't explain to anybody why. So please, bookmark this page and come back and check it often. You hop on my social medias. It's Twitter and Facebook. It's Resonated, REZN8D, REZN8D, and Twitter and Facebook, ClimateViewer. So at ClimateViewer on Facebook and Twitter. And I'm going to try to at least, just publish. I'm about to go live. Go to either DLive or my YouTube channel, and, refresh the page until it shows up, because I'm using Restream, so I can't actually get a link that I can share out before I go live. But that's the way this is going to work. And if you guys can continue to support my work, I appreciate everybody who has donated. I put, almost all of it back into the stream. I've got 2 new streaming lights. I can show you guys real quick. I got 2 new Elgato key lights. The new microphone is a Yeti X. I got a Stream Deck XL this year. I just got a Elgato Cam Link so that I'm on my GoPro now, which I think this camera, and the lighting is so much better because now you guys can't say that I'm a ghost and I need to go outside. I mean, you can actually see my skin color. That's rare, right? But like I said, I appreciate every one of you guys. And I hope that, you got to realize that despite everybody saying 2020 was the worst year ever, it's all in the eye of the beholder. It's perception matters. So your perception of reality is your reality. And for me, I didn't live in Portland. I didn't have to go through any riots. I got to stay home. I'm kind of a homebody anyway. It's just that, 2021 is going to be what you make of it. So make the most of it. No one here gets out alive. So I hope that everybody watching this takes a positive attitude and applies that to 2021. Start in your own home, fix your problems, and then we can get to fixing the world. I think that's the best way forward. So I love you, mean it. And as always, remember that with information comes power. With power comes great responsibility. So take the information provided by this video and ClimateViewer.com, ClimateViewer.org, and WeatherModificationHistory.com. And remember to attack ideas, not people. Love you guys. If this video resonates with you, leave me a comment because I love hearing from y'all. First time here, be sure to subscribe and click the bell. The bell doesn't always work, so come to ClimateViewer.com and sign up for our newsletter. Remember, it would be impossible for me to do this without your support, so please join my Patreon or buy me a coffee on PayPal. And always, attack ideas, not people.